So we're looking at composite plane shapes or composite 2D shapes. Okay, so it's a continuation on lessons I've previously taught on plane shapes. Okay, so we've looked at what plane shapes are, we've looked at the different types of plane shapes, we've considered the area and the perimeter of different plane shapes. So, but today we're looking at composite plane shapes. So the first thing we need to know is, what are composite plane shapes? A composite plane shape or 2D shape is a plane shape that is made up of two or more regular plane shapes. Let's write that down. So a composite plane shape is a plane shape that is made up of two or more regular plane shapes. What are the regular plane shapes? Rectangle, square, circle, trapezoid, all those shapes are regular plane shapes. But there are some shapes that are not among those regular plane shapes. For example, if I have a shape like this, and I ask you, what is the name of this shape? This shape doesn't have a name. You cannot say this is a rectangle. You cannot say this is a square. You cannot say this is a triangle, circle, or any of those shapes we know. This is a composite plane shape because in this shape, you have other regular plane shapes. So if you are told to calculate the area of this plane shape, how are you going to calculate it? So that is what we are going to be looking at in today's lesson, how to calculate the area and the perimeter of composite plane shapes. Before you go ahead to calculate the area or the perimeter of the composite plane shape, first you need to know how many regular plane shapes are in this one. Okay, so if you look at this, you can break this down to two regular plane shapes. So I can decide to break this down like this. So once I do that, I have shape A and shape B. So this shape here is a rectangle. You can identify it as a rectangle because it's a regular plane shape that you know. This also looks like a rectangle. You can identify it as one of the regular plane shapes. So if you are expected to calculate the area of this plane shape, there are two ways you can get it done. The first method is calculate the area of this section A, calculate the area of this section B, and then add the areas together. That will give you the area of the entire shape. Hope you understand that. There's another way of getting it done. So if you are told to calculate the area of this side, let me shade it. You are told to calculate the area of this shape here. You can also do something else. You can extend this. Now, from here to here to here to here is a regular plane shape. You can see it. This looks like a rectangle, right? Let's call this point A, B, C, and D. So this is a rectangle. A, B, C, D is a rectangle. You can calculate the area of this rectangle. Then, if this point here is E and this point is F, this is another rectangle. And let's call this G. This is another rectangle. You can calculate the area of this rectangle. Then you subtract this small rectangle from the bigger rectangle. That will give you the area of this part. So there are two ways of solving the area of a shape like this. Okay, so we're going to look at an example. Okay, so now we want to calculate the area of a composite plane shape. Let's start with an example. So this is a composite plane shape. It is not any of the regular plane shapes, so we call it a composite plane shape. So if we want to calculate the area of this plane shape, the first thing we need to do is break this down to two regular plane shapes. Remember, I told you that there are two methods of getting it done. So I'm going to use the two methods, and we're going to see if we're going to arrive at the same answer. So the first method, you break this composite 2D shapes. You break this composite 2D shape into two regular plane shapes. So if you break it like this, you have one plane shape here, you have one plane shape here. Someone else can decide to do it this way. This and this, you're going to get the same answer, right? You're going to get the same answer. So well, let's do it this way. So here you have shape A and you have shape B. Okay. So what type of plane shape is this? Shape A. What type of plane shape is that? So this is a rectangle actually. This shape here is a rectangle. Okay. So we're going to draw it. Let's draw the rectangle. This shape A is a rectangle. The width, we can see the width to be 5 centimeter. We can see the length, the longer side is 9 centimeter. So since it's a rectangle, we can simply calculate the area of the rectangle. Area is equal to length multiplied by width. The length is 9, the width is 5. So we have 9 multiplied by 5, and that will give us 45 centimeter squared. So we've gotten the area of area A. Let's call it A, area of A. So now let's consider area of B. Area of B. Let's draw B here. Now we know the width of B to be 4, so 4 centimeter. Do we know the length of B? What's the length of B? 6 centimeter, correct? So let's see how we got it. From here to here is 11 centimeter, but from here to here, we know it's 5 centimeter. So this side is 5. So this remaining part is going to be 6 centimeter. Okay, so this side is going to be 6. So this also is a rectangle. So we are still going to use the same formula. So area of B is equal to length multiplied by width. The length is 6, the width is 4. So 6 multiplied by 4 gives us 24. So 24 centimeter squared. So that's the area of this side. So now we've gotten the area of this side, we've gotten the area of this side. Now we need to find the total area. So we need to add both sides. So total area is equal to 45 plus 24. And that will give us 69 centimeter squared. So the area of this entire shape is 69 centimeters squared. Let's go through the second method. So this is 5 centimeter, 11 centimeter, 9 centimeter, 4 centimeter. Okay. So the second method of solving this is we can extend this. So when we extend it, let's call this A, B, C, D. We now have a rectangle A, B, C, D. So let's draw it. This side is 11. This side is 9. So we can calculate the area of this big rectangle. So area is equal to length multiplied by width. The length is 11 multiplied by the width is 9. So the area is 99 centimeter squared. So we have been able to calculate the area of this big rectangle. So for us to get the area of this side, we need to subtract this portion. This portion here, this side is 6 centimeter, while this side is 5 centimeter. So that is looking like this. 6 centimeter by 5 centimeter. So this portion here. So 6 centimeter multiplied by 5 centimeter, that's also a rectangle. So area is equal to length multiplied by width, which is 6 multiplied by 5. That will give us 30 centimeter squared. So finally, to get this side, we need to subtract this from this. So you have area is equal to 99 minus 30, which will give us 69 centimeter squared. So either ways, you will get the same answer. Let's look at another example. If someone decides to cut like this, So if you cut that way, Kenny says 3, 3, okay. So if you cut that way, here we have a rectangle, but here, what shape is this? This shape, from this boundary up this way. Is this a regular 2D shape? What shape is this? Trapezium, correct. So you have a rectangle, you have a trapezium. So this 2D shape, this composite plane shape can be broken down to two shapes. You have a rectangle here, and you have a trapezium here. Okay, so let's call this shape A, and let's call this shape B. Also, some other person can cut this way, and we have a longer trapezium and a smaller shape on top. Okay, so let's calculate for the area of this trapezium. Area is equal to half A plus B times height. So I'm going to draw it here. So the height here, what will the height be? This height, what will it be? Okay, someone say 4, correct. So from here to here is 4, because we know that from here to here is 10, but from here to here is 6. So we have 4 feet. And then what's the distance here? We know that here is 7. What's the distance here? 10. So here to here is 10. Because since here to here is 15, but here to here is 5, so here is 10. So we are going to fix it into this formula. Our A is the shorter length, our B is the longer length, and our our H is 4. So half times 17 times 4, what are we going to get? 34, correct. So area of the trapezium is equal to 34 square feet. Okay, so now we calculate the area of the rectangle. The length is 10, the width is 5, which gives us 50 square feet. So the total area of this shape here, total area is equal to 34 plus 50, and that will give us 84 square feet. We've seen how to calculate the area of composite plane shapes. So you can still look for more practice questions and try out those questions.